Before we begin the video, I would like to give a big thank you to those who show their support. Golden Pants, Michael Foster, Findel, Miles Harris, Jim Kerrigan, Ludicrous Life, Noah Barnhart, and Alexis. Thank you very much for your support. And for those of you who wish to pay tribute as well, feel free to click the link below in the description to find out more. I'll see you there.
November 12th is very rapidly approaching, and November 12th is the date where Disney Plus is going to launch. Officially, I think that's going to be yet another streaming platform that I get, because they got so much good shit on there, man.
They should have done their release date sooner, in my opinion. I know, like, not everybody agrees with me, but after November 11th, I'm not going to be doing anything else but one thing for a little while.
What's that?
Death Stranding.
Oh, that's right. Nick here is dedicating the majority of his stream days.
It's the 11th, right? I'm pretty sure it's the 11th.
I think it's the 8th or the 9th. Death Stranding. Death Stranding comes out November 8th.
Oh, yeah.
So it's earlier.
So, yeah. Unless I manage to beat the game by the 12th, but I doubt that's going to happen.
No, you are not going to be able to do that. The game is going to be long.
I hope so.
The game is going to be long, arduous, and hopefully for you, very enjoyable. And then once...
the back of my brain is still kind of hoping it comes out and it's like a 20-hour game that is actually some sort of cover-up / setup. And like
for Silent Hills.
Yeah, 20 hours into it, it's just like pops up the title screen and it's like Silent Hills.
Yeah.
It's like the intro. It's like a 20-minute or like a 20-hour like nightmare that he's having, and then he wakes up in Silent Hill and it's just like, oh shit. But I know it's not going to happen, but...
Well, you never know, man. I mean...
You can always have weird hopes. It's Hideo. Well, he does weird shit.
Yeah, Hideo Kojima always does weird stuff.
And he has a reputation for tricking his fans, like on certain things. So
yeah.
Which we always enjoy the crap out of when he does. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I enjoy anything Kojima does. I also tying back to Star Wars a little bit.
He did let me down because I was really hoping that Kiefer Sutherland voicing Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5, and it was going to turn out to be like another clone and wasn't actually either of them, and then David Hayter was going to show up like as a voice, like, you know, shortly.
That was not Kojima's call, though.
Yeah.
That was Konami. That was their call.
Douchers Konami.
That was the douche nozzles.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So overall, I'm excited for Death Stranding. I hope that you enjoy it, and me, I might play it in my spare time. But tying back to Star Wars, what I'm going to be doing later in November is I'm going to be
playing. It comes
playing.
out in November.
What?
That comes out in November.
Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it came out that soon. Hell
yeah, it comes out in November. Let's see. Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order. There it is. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, due out November 8th, 2019, 1 week after Death Stranding, which hopefully you will be a good ways in on Death Stranding, and I'll be starting that up and be having some fun.
Hell yeah.
And it will not be as long as Death Stranding. They're saying Death Stranding could potentially be anywhere from 70 to well over 160 hours long.
Really?
They're saying that.
Shit.
Because how Kojima has talked about it.
I didn't figure like him doing it himself it would be that long.
Well, it's not just him, though. Keep in mind, this is Sony pretty much giving Kojima a blank check.
That is true.
And telling Team Kojima, and pretty much him getting his original team back together. And just
Sony being like, we know you're capable of masterpieces, make us another masterpiece.
Exactly.
So.
And they wrote him a blank check, and
like, okay.
They're hoping it'll pan out.
Yeah.
And I guarantee
I have faith that it will. So.
No, I have faith that it will, too.
It's like if they did the same thing for Miyazaki, you know, like, or...
well, they did. They did for Bloodborne.
Yeah. Like,
They did for
Shit.
Bloodborne. They did for Naughty Dog. They did for Santa Monica.
Who's the other
They
one
did
I like?
for Insomniac. They've done that for a lot of big name people.
Yeah, or if they did that for like Atlas, like
Yeah, Persona 5.
yeah.
Which also another thing too with Sony at the helm of pretty much some of the best game development. I mean, single player game development. I mean, you look at how far they're pushing the boundaries, and it's amazing. And we're actually seeing a potential revival of single player experiences because we talked earlier about them potentially doing Overwatch single player. We are also seeing a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order coming from EA. This is coming from EA, the same EA that hoard out Battlefront.
I wonder how bad they are sitting there poking those developers with a stick. They'll be like, let's put microtransactions in it.
And you know what Stig Asmussen is saying?
Let us put microtransactions
You know what Stig
in it.
Asmussen is saying? He's saying, I do what I want. Leave me alone.
But we could make more money.
And to which he will just be like, I don't want to make more money. I want to make a good game.
And they're probably like, but we do want to make more money.
And he's like, I don't care. Because here's one thing that
Hopefully.
I'm glad Respawn did whenever they signed with EA.
Hopefully he's just been like, look, if any of you want to put microtransactions in the game, like, get over here and fight me right now because I will fist fight you.
Well, Stig Asmussen has gone on record. Stig Asmussen has gone on record to say that with everything that, the deal that they signed with EA, Respawn has full, complete control over development of their Star Wars game.
Wait, this is Respawn making that?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The same company that made Titanfall and the same company that made...
it's just disappointing because I'm still kind of pissed at them too, but I don't know.
Oh, no, that wasn't them. You see, after a year...
Well, it was some of their developers that said some shit.
They're bootlickers, yeah.
Yeah.
The bootlickers, I guarantee you, those aren't actually full-on developers. Those are actually like company men within Respawn who are trying to bootlick to get on EA's good side. To which Stig Asmussen is pretty much giving a big middle finger to that and saying, no, I'm not kowtowing down to these pricks. We're making our game. It's single player, no microtransactions, and we are going to show people what single player games are capable of again. Yeah. And that's what seems to have been forgotten in the video gaming industry. It's like ever since...
Well, it hasn't.
Well,
there's a bunch of big companies that don't think that they're profitable, and then there's a bunch of people just sitting in the background proving their asses wrong all the time.
Well, yeah,
like
but...
Hideo and like...
Well, but that's
Miyazaki,
the point, man. That's the point,
Atlas.
though. You see, but they don't look at the bottom line like that. They look at what made them the most money. Like Epic, for instance. Epic has pretty much canceled all future development of anything and everything as long as Fortnite keeps making them money. And that's a problem. That's why they're doing the Epic Game Store. That's why they're pretty much pulling a Valve. They're pretty much pulling a Valve.
The dumbest thing about Epic, though, is that Paragon would have been the next big fucking MOBA game if they hadn't have fucked it up and if they had to listen to the fans.
Well, that's you're asking Epic,
Like,
the same Epic
they
that fired
been,
Cliff Bleszinski after he gave them the Gears of War franchise.
It's like by now they probably would have been doing tournaments and shit and like big ass events, kind of like Blizzard is doing with Overwatch with Paragon.
Maybe, but we'll never know.
And they would have been doing stuff like that with like they're doing with Fortnite. They would have had two massively competitive games. But they just let it die before it picked up because they didn't listen to anybody who was already playing it and anybody who was already a MOBA fan and just did their own shit and pissed everybody off.
Yeah. Well, there you go, man. I mean, that's development as a whole, which I'm hoping, whereas the Star Wars films so far have been disappointing. Yes, you heard me right. If you don't prescribe to that and you want to, live in the ignorant bliss of Rian Johnson's Star Wars world, go right ahead, go to the corner and sit in it and pretend your life is perfect. But for those of us out there who have been disappointed so far with the Star Wars franchise ever since some put it before with The Force Awakens. I thought The Force Awakens was passable. I thought it was a pretty good film.
Well, I mean, like I said,
it was
too,
a retelling.
I still am really okay with the Rogue One and Solo. Like, I'm really okay with both of those movies.
Well, Rogue One I liked a lot. Rogue One I thought was
Solo,
really
like, I didn't think was amazing, but I was like, that was pretty good. Like,
Solo was
that was
pretty
much
good,
better than I expected.
But it's probably the most important character in the Star Wars franchise. Han Solo is a lot of people's favorite character.
Yeah.
And the way they mishandled the storytelling, I mean...
The way they what?
They mishandled the storytelling, dude.
Don't agree.
Okay, what was the point of Emilia Clarke's character?
What was her character again?
Exactly. You see my point?
No.
She's one of the most important characters in the entire film, but yet you don't remember a fucking thing about her. Why is that?
Because Solo is what the film's about. He's the most important.
Then why is she in the? Then why is she even in the film?
Because you got to have other side characters like
Chewie.
Yeah.
Fucking Lando.
Chewie doesn't speak English. So.
Lando.
Yeah.
Fucking Woody Harrelson's character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I agree with them being in the film and everything, and their existence and what they do. Why is Emilia Clarke in there? Don't get me wrong, I love Emilia Clarke, but what point does her character serve other than to be an objective, and other than she's in the film for a little bit, she disappears, and then she shows up randomly later in the film, be like, oh hi, didn't see you there. It's like, what?
So that's the girl he was with at the very beginning?
Yes.
I think it was just to show that he had like a previous love interest, basically.
Well, then write her better, dude. I mean, they completely kerfluffled the story on her, and they kerfluffled the story with a lot of stuff. I mean, I enjoyed the Kessel Run. I thought the Kessel Run was awesome. And I thought there was so much in it that worked. But in terms of how all the characters fit together, there was some missteps. I mean, that's just me, though. I mean... Don't get me wrong, I love Emilia Clarke. I think she's a great actress, and I think she has the potential to be a very successful film actress. But so far, I've been nothing but disappointed with her films. Except for that one Christmas one. That one was pretty good. Alright. Well, anyway, I'm sorry, enough bitching. Let's actually get on with The Mandalorian, the thing we're actually supposed to be talking about. 12 minutes into the damn video. Jesus Christ. We really need to stop.
Yeah. We do what we want.
Yeah.
Is the world more peaceful since the revolution?
Werner Herzog.
It is a shame that your people suffered.
Shiny helmet. It's one of those dudes.
But bounty hunting is a complicated profession. They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree?
Okay.
Mandalorian.
Carl Weathers, Gina Carano.
Look outside.
Nice. Giancarlo Esposito. Bill! Did you see that?
What?
Did you see that? Look! Hold on.
For you.
Right here. It's Bill fucking Burr!
Is it?
That's Bill Burr! Holy shit!
I can't tell with his cheeks puffed out like that.
Are you kidding me? It's the only way I could tell, because he's always so fucking angry. And the red really matches too.
Oh, I want to say, I read something about someone being like, please put me in this, but I can't remember if it was him or somebody else.
Good.
Oh, it was MC Chris, was begging him, was like, please let me be in The Mandalorian.
Okay.
He's like, I have a fucking song about Boba Fett,
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I mean...
It still looks like it could be really cool. Also, are they doing gun kata with blasters? Is that what I'm saying?
Kind of. It looks like they're doing close range blaster, almost John Wick style.
Yeah.
With it, which
it's like John Wick, like Equilibrium, stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I
really enjoy those kinds of action scenes with guns and close quarters and almost like martial arts with guns. Gun kata is what they call it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that kind of shit's badass, and it'd be really cool to see them do that in Star Wars.
Well, yeah, I mean, gun fu, like stuff like that. A lot of people attribute it to when John Woo started doing stuff. Hard Boiled's one of the greatest action films of all time, and Chow Yun Fat as Tequila Ewan, his character was known for doing that. Just using the guns as a sort of close range,
extension of
like
your
using
body, basically.
using them, and also using them as like a physical thing too. And then after that, it was Robert Rodriguez in Desperado with Antonio Banderas.
Still never seen those movies.
You've never seen those? Dude, all three of them are actually pretty good. I'd say my favorite, the first one is very...
I remember seeing the trailer for Once Upon a Time in Mexico
Yes.
before I realized it was related to that.
Uh-huh.
And I remember thinking it looked really cool.
I will say this, my favorite... Okay, how they're divided up is weird. My favorite in terms of story is the first one, but the quality is very bad because it's very low budget. My favorite action is probably in the second one because of just how inventive the action is.
Is that Once Upon a Time?
No, that's Desperado. See,
so Desperado is the second one?
Yes.
What's the
there's
first one then?
El Mariachi.
Okay.
There's El Mariachi, Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Yeah, I didn't even know the name of the other one, and I thought Desperado was the first one for some reason.
No, Desperado... Desperado was really good, but it had really cool action. A little scattershot with the plot, but still pretty damn good. And then, of course, there was Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which is the finale, has probably the best scenery of all the films. And plus, it has pretty good action as well. I'd say Once Upon a Time in Mexico is probably my favorite because of the cast, the characters, the action, the scenery, all of it's really well done. But Desperado is also really good. I mean,
I'm
in
guessing
terms
they
of the
just
action.
had a bigger budget by the end of it.
Yeah, they had. Well, the first film I think was made for less than $100,000. Desperado was made for about, I think it was like $5 million and made over $30 million. And then Once Upon a Time in Mexico, I think finally got a budget of around $20 million to play with, which Robert Rodriguez told his actors, he's like, we got a big budget now. I'm actually going to be able to pay you decently this time. To which they were just like, yay! Wait a second, how much, what kind of stuff are you going to ask us to do? And then Selma Hayek actually asked, he's like, it's like, am I going to regret this? And he goes, Selma, you may die, but it'll be awesome. And she said, okay, fuck it, let's go.
Fair enough.
And you see, I love stuff like this. And then, of course, Equilibrium, the gun kata, like the traditional, like what people see as like the gun kata that is sort of taken over in cinema.
In my opinion, that is a super underrated, fun movie.
Well,
like, it's one of my favorite movies. And I know it doesn't have the best like reviews and everything.
Well,
but I like the concept. I like the actors.
Oh yeah, great
and
actors.
I really love the action in it. The action is just badass.
Well, Kurt Wimmer.
It's like, if nothing else, you have to admit the action in it is badass.
Oh no, I will admit all day the action in Equilibrium is immensely impressive, and the fact that the actors went to that level too. Christian Bale killed it in that role. Just how precise he was with his movements. Just how he was able to learn the gun kata system that Kurt Wimmer invented. Kurt Wimmer actually invented the system in the film that they used. And he taught it to Christian Bale, and Christian Bale picked it up like that. The guy's a friggin' sponge. He can absorb almost anything and use it to his advantage.
Plus, it had a cool ending to me because the ending kind of left it to where like they could do a sequel if they wanted to at some point, but it was a pretty satisfying ending to where if they don't, that's fine. Like,
yeah, they end on a logical closure point, but they leave the door open
pretty
just
much.
in case.
It's like that world could continue on, but like, at that point, you're satisfied with what has happened, essentially, and you're like, all right, hell yeah.
And which I'm hoping that the quality that they're going with on this is very movie quality.
Yeah.
And I like that. I mean, this looks like a limited series.
Oh, it's Disney, so they have the money for it.
Well, they do have the money for it, and also this is an anchoring show. You see, much how when Netflix started up, they were just a movie thing. But when they started producing their own shows, they had anchor shows. They had Orange is the New Black. They had the new Daredevil series. They had all these big series coming out, and the only place you could watch it, Netflix. And now Disney has announced that they have a huge plethora of the old stuff. The one that sold, actually, I remember my friend Andrew sent me something, and he said, look what they're putting on the Disney Plus subscription service. Gargoyles will be available day one.
Dude, hell yeah.
And I'm like, sold. Give it to me. Put it in my freaking eyes.
Yeah, like, I would actually be kind of down to go back and, like, do a reaction series of that.
I'd love to, man, because I haven't seen Gargoyles in friggin' forever.
Me either, and it's, like, been long enough that it would be almost like watching a fresh show.
Yes.
And I remember loving it. Like, hopefully it holds up, you know.
Well,
from what I hear from everybody still says it's awesome.
A lot of people still say it does. I mean, the dark gothic storyline.
I probably appreciate it more now, like, as an older,
yeah.
more mature person than
yeah.
when I saw it as a kid and did not fully understand everything that was going on.
Yeah, I'm all for it, dude. I mean, more gargoyles, the better, if you ask me.
And I mean, they have the potential, like, if this does well, to do cool shit with other things that we already like. And I mean, aren't they also doing a selling point where their vaulted shit is all going to be on there?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's super exciting for a lot of longtime Disney fans.
And not only that, but a lot of their older TV series and the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be available on there too.
Yeah.
They are putting this all out there. And
there's a couple shows
I
remember watching on Disney, and I can't remember what they would be off the top of my head, but I bet if I saw them, I'd be like, oh shit, I need to rewatch this now.
What was one of the concepts of one of them?
I just can't remember.
I remember You remember Darkwing Duck?
Yeah, Darkwing Duck's awesome.
You remember friggin' DuckTales? Everyone remembers DuckTales when they're talking about.
Obviously. Are they going to put the new DuckTales on there?
Yes. New DuckTales and old DuckTales are both going to be on there.
Give me a chance to finally check that out.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry. I'm not going to sing it. Okay, it's hard not to sing that because it's such an addictive theme song.
Nah, we should just go ahead and end the video.
Yeah, we
22
should.
minutes on a 1:44 trailer, and I'm sure everybody's going to complain about that in the comments. Despite the fact that I just made this statement, they're not going to watch the video to the point that I say this, and they're going to complain in the comments, and then I'm going to go on there and be like, yep, I told you in the video you were going to do that. Totally called it.
Oh, well. Anyway.
You don't have to say it if I've already said it.
It's true.
I mean, you can. It's just more revenue for the video, I guess. But
I guess, yeah.
I mean, it's not really a point other than that. Like, you could say something more constructive.
You could, but yeah, well. Anyway, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. This was The Mandalorian official trailer number 2, Disney Plus, streaming November 12th. Cannot wait. This is going to be awesome. And I guess until next time, everybody, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
And we will see you all in the next one. Peace out.